Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 33, chapter 33. Today we're reading Jacob and Esau meet. Now, Jacob lifted his eyes and looked, and there Esau was coming, and with him were 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maidservants. And he put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. Then he crossed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. But Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And they wept. And he lifted his eyes, and saw the woman and the children, and said, Who are these with you? So he said, The children whom God has graciously given your servant. Then the maidservant came near, they and their children, and bowed down. And Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed down. Afterward Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed down. Then Esau said, What do you mean by all this company which I met? And he said, These are the fine favor in the sight of my lord. But Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself. And Jacob said, No, please. If I have now found favor in your sight, then receive my present from my hand. Inasmuch as I have seen your face as though I have seen the face of God, and you were pleased with me, please take my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. So he urged him, and he took it. Then Esau said, Let us take our journey. Let us go, and I will go before you. But Jacob said to him, My Lord knows that the children are weak, and that the flock and herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard one day, all the flock will die. Please let my lord go on ahead before his servant. I will lead on slowly at a pace which the livestock that go before me and the children are able to endure, until I come to my lord in Seir. And Esau said, Now let me leave with you some of the people who are with me. But he said, What need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my lord. So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir. And Jacob journeyed to Succoth, built himself a house, and made booths for his livestock. Therefore the name of the place is called Succoth. Jacob comes to Canaan. Then Jacob came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came from Paddan Aram, and he pitched his tent before the city, and he brought the parcel of land, which he had pitched his tent, from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. Then he erected an altar there, and called it El Eloh Israel. Hope you guys enjoyed chapter 33, Genesis 33 with me. Here's a quick summary and lesson from the chapter. Genesis 33 is Jacob and Esau's reunion, the moment Jacob has been dreading and preparing for since the previous chapter. Jacob sees Esau approaching with his 400 men, and still cautious, arranges his family strategically. The maidservants and their children first, then Leah and her children, and Rachel and Joseph last. In the most protected position, Jacob himself goes ahead of all of them, bowing to the ground 7 times as he approaches his brother. But instead of anger or violence Jacob feared, Esau runs to meet him, embraces him, falls on his neck, and weeps. A complete, unexpected reconciliation. Esau notices the woman and children and asks about them, and they ask about the massive gift of livestock Jacob had sent ahead. Jacob insists he keeps it as a token of finding favor in his brother's sight, and after some polite back and forth, Esau accepts. Esau offers to travel together or leave some of his men for protection, but Jacob politely declines both, citing the slow pace of the children and nursing livestock, and the two part on good terms, each heading towards separate destinations. Jacob eventually settles near Shechem, buys a parcel of land, and builds an altar there, naming it El Eloh Israel, God, the God of Israel. The lesson underneath it. This chapter delivers real relief and grace after a long buildup of fear and tension. Years of estrangement dissolve in a moment of genuine emotion rather than the violence Jacob had braced for. It's a powerful picture of how reconciliation is often not just possible but freely given, even when someone doesn't feel they deserve it. Jacob's careful, humble approach, bowing 7 times, arranging his family protectively, offering generous gifts, also shows a changed man compared to the schemer of earlier chapters, someone actively working towards peace rather than manipulation. Thank you guys so much for listening. See you tomorrow.